right, guys, let's talk a little football. Zach, last week you mentioned Anthony Richardson as a possibility for the Browns if they look to make an addition to the quarterback room. Well, yesterday you were joined by one Matthew Berry, who reported, and I quote, "The Colts are expected to move on from Anthony Richardson, and a potential landing spot is Cleveland, where Todd Monken, who spent the last few years coaching Lamar Jackson, could try and develop Richardson's considerable athletic gifts." Zach, like I said, you were the first to mention a possible tie between Cleveland and Richardson, and you didn't even necessarily report it, just said it makes sense. Now that some other people are putting point A and point B together, where do you feel like the Browns stand on the Anthony Richardson decision? And what would you give up if he was available to acquire the Colts quarterback?
Well, I've always been a leader, not a follower. In an imperfect and totally open situation, this is a near perfect fit. Anthony Richardson is signed for one more year. Anthony Richardson has crazy athletic gifts. Anthony Richardson was forced to play too early. He is younger than Shedeur Sanders. He can chuck it down the field. He's big and fast, and he knows his career is at stake because he's only signed for one more year. He's going to be available for somewhere in the neighborhood of a fifth-round pick. The Browns still have two of those, even after yesterday's trade. The Browns have a situation where it's an open competition with Shedeur as the leader right now. Why not bring this guy in? Why not give him a chance? We don't know what 27 brings. We don't even know what the start of 26 brings. But why not, at this price, give a guy a chance to come resurrect his career as you're building a new offense, as you're looking for that skill set? I mean, I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but we know Todd Monken wants a mobile quarterback. We know Anthony Richardson's played a little. Matter of fact, I think he started more pro games than he did in college. Mm-hmm. Still young. Uber, like, we're not talking about a little bit athletic here. We're talking about 245 pounds. Big dude, big shoulders, chuck it down the field. Like, of all the risks you can take and all the maybes and all the in this quarterback class, like, this guy is near the top, and he is going to cost nearly nothing, whereas Malik Willis is going to cost a bunch.
When you phrase it like that, I think it makes a lot more sense than what if you just look at it on the outside looking and be like, Richardson, right? When you actually start to talk about it, Tyvis, and you listen to what it may cost, and you listen to the contract, and you listen to, all right, if you asked yourself, are you more intrigued with Dylan Gabriel or Anthony Richardson?
I'd be more intrigued with which one would I be more intrigued with?
Yeah.
Depends on the offense I'm running.
Give me Anthony Richardson.
Depends on the offense. It depends on the offense.
Give me Anthony Richardson. So if you told me,
I'm running Todd Monken's offense, to give me Anthony Richardson.
Well, you're running Todd Monken's offense.
So
it makes sense.
If you want to upgrade the floor of the room and you say, all right, well, I got Anthony Richardson. He's going to cost me a fifth-round pick. It's Minimowski. He has 1 year left on his deal. He'll be motivated. He did run a ridiculous whatever he ran, right? Mm-hmm. I think he ran a 4.4.
He broke the combine quarterback testing record.
Yeah.
Basically everything he did.
Right.
So he has a big arm, and I always thought that, when you go back and look with Anthony Richardson, in terms of if you thought that you were going to bring Anthony, say, for instance, you weren't bringing nobody else in, and you say, Anthony Richardson, we're going to bring him in for a third-round pick, and he's my starting quarterback, I would be like, that's not going to work for me. I need something else. I need some other people in the room to even get him to that point. But if you're telling me it's for free and he's going to come in with 1 year left on his deal, how much would that, in terms of the cap situation, how does that factor into?
His base salary is the absolute minimum for a fourth-year player. Now, he does have a roster bonus because he was a top-5 pick, but he's very manageable.
So it's Minimowski.
It'd be under $5 million.
So
get him signed for a year with the motivation that he is looking for a bigger contract.
What's the difference between him and Taylor Green?
Well, first of all, they're about 6 months apart in age. Taylor Green stunk for 3 years in college. Anthony Richardson's already been in the NFL for 3 years. They're very similar in their athletic profiles, but they're nearly the same age, right? So Richardson's ahead there. Age does not matter a ton at quarterback, right?
No,
it matters more
not really.
at the other positions. But this is what you're pointing out. Anthony Richardson came into a situation where he didn't have the right support. They drafted him too high. They played him too early. Mm-hmm. He was immature himself. He made some mistakes. He had never struggled before. He didn't bounce back the right way, right? Then he got hurt. He had the freak injury last year. He got replaced. He didn't handle it great. He says, I need a fresh start. The Colts have all sorts of cap issues. They want him to get a fresh start. So the only reason that the Browns don't make sense here, to me, is if the Browns are getting Malik Willis, mm-hmm. or if Anthony Richardson and the Colts said that he would rather go to a spot where he knows he's going to be a backup and relaunch
Right.
his career that way. And I don't know because, the Colts, obviously you would think they would work together on finding the ideal trade situation, but they don't have to, right?
Right.
Like the Colts hold the cards here. He can request a trade and he knows he's not in their plans. But the Colts kind of hold the cards here. So if they work together, which a lot of organizations try to do in this situation, I don't know. And he might come here and be the backup. It might not work out.
Right.
But when you look at this, and here's the ceiling outcome. Say Shador's good. Say the Browns are decent and Shador's having a good year and the defense is good and you're playing relevant games. Like, this is your fourth down red zone quarterback. Like, this guy's 245 pounds.
Yeah, you know what? You think of it like
The problem with it all is the Vikings is the only one that really believe in him because Kevin O'Connell said that to him, and that's probably the place that he would want to go. And I think they probably
believes
But let me counter that. Everybody thinks, and I think the Vikings need to stick with J.J. McCarthy.
I agree.
Right? They drafted him high. They
agree.
don't have a GM right now.
Yeah.
give him another
So the way
year.
to supplement him is with Kirk Cousins or Geno Smith, someone who's done it, someone who's been around, who can come in and coach him up and play to a certain level if you need. I just don't think there's room for Anthony Richardson there, right? Like, whereas here, it's an open competition, and he can jump in it.
Yeah, I think, to me, I'm not the craziest fan of Anthony Richardson, but I've always said this. Like, if you believe Shador Sanders is good, if you believe that, like, he's a guy that could be a potential quarterback, I don't think that, like, Shador Sanders would be – you shouldn't be scared of Anthony Richardson. Like,
No.
Because if –
He should beat Anthony Richardson out every day and
Like-
twice on Sunday. My only issue with Anthony Richardson is because I actually brought this up I brought it up like a month
Actually,
ago.
you did.
And people looked at me like I was crazy when I said the Browns should go after Anthony Richardson. But my only issue with Anthony Richardson is he's been the same quarterback since high school. You look at his high school completion percentage and numbers, the same as college, it's the same as the NFL.
Yeah.
This is who he is. Like,
Right.
it is what it is.
So the downside is he's forever a 50% passer. And he's not
yeah,
gonna
like,
do
it is what he is.
The upside is he helps you win a game even if he's not great.
Yeah, if you want to be a gadget, because here's the thing, we kind of mentioned this. Have you guys seen Deshaun Watson running?
I did see the video of him
did.
yesterday
He rolled?
doing a running back.
He rolling? He got the zip on the ball, man. I seen that already.
He ain't rolling.
Okay, but he moved. He picking them up and putting them down.
It's not Limp Bizkit. It's more along the line. See, you guys were supposed to laugh more than that.
I
That
gotta
was
see.
crazy.
I gotta see what he posted on his Instagram.
Yeah, he was doing some cuts laterally, but you could tell he still got about 2-3 months left.
He was doing a running back drill. Let's just call it what it was.
Yeah, it was a running back
And
drill.
there's nothing wrong with it, but it was a running back drill.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of video where Deshaun Watson looks great. It's in 2020.
This cat Zach. Hey, that 2020. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie, man. Listen. Let me tell you something. Because listen, I told you the 4,500. Sometimes I go back just to watch it, just to see if I was crazy.
Right.
Just to see if I was nuts. Like, to be like, man, this dude was literally a top 3 quarterback, man, and he was doing whatever he wanted to. It still baffles me to this day that when they signed Deshaun Watson, you couldn't have told me that we wasn't about to go to at least the AFC Championship game.
Sure. That's why they did it. It was time to raise the level.
And the injuries is one thing. I will say this with Anthony Richardson. If it's buy low, all right, bring a 5th round pick, bring him in. Let's compete. And I do like this too. I'm a project stockpile guy. I mean, if you want to bring him in to run Wildcat, you want to bring him in on a goal line, you want to bring him in on the gadget play, who knows? My thing is, and I've always said this, if Todd Monken wants to do it, I'm going to roll what Todd Monken's talking about.
I agree. The new head coach should have incredible input, if not the most important input, on any quarterback decision.
Right.
And like you just said, the stockpiling, go back to last year, what'd they do? First day of free agency, traded a 5th, Kenny Pickett. A month later, spent no money, $4 million on a veteran quarterback, and then made the worst 3rd-round pick in history, and then added a guy in the 5th. So that's where they were doing. So why wouldn't you add a 5th here for a guy that there's a ceiling, and if it doesn't work, it costs you a 5th.
And if it do work and he looks decent in the preseason game, and somebody say, hey, we need a quarterback.
And if it works to an extent with him or Shador or some combination of, your future is still open.
Right. It don't cost you nothing. I think that. Do you think this is more viable than Malik? I think it's definitely more viable than Malik Willis. I mean,
Y'all know how I feel about that.
yeah, like that.
Well, it's trains going on two completely different tracks.
Yeah,
Malik
like-
Willis is your quarterback.
Yeah, like
Anthony Richardson is in your competition.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
now.
Also, the price drastically different. You're looking at 20 to 30
Price
million for
drastically
Willis.
different going forward. Price
Yes,
not
yes,
much
yes, yes.
different in 2026.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just mean the asset.
But yes,
yeah.
huge commitment going forward.
Yes,
but you're saying we got it right.
I am so
If you go to Malik
interested to see how next year works with this Malik Willis thing. I am.
Where do you think he's going? Because I really don't know, and I spent the
I
weekend
have
in
no
asking
idea,
people.
but I keep telling everybody the only place that makes sense for to pay the money that he's getting is Miami because of the head coach and the GM. They're the only ones that actually seen him every single day.
That's right.
I-
but their cap situation's so bad.
It's
Halfway's about to
terrible.
call you back to play. You're going to be covering kicks for the Dolphins instead of taking bad calls after the
Yeah,
Browns.
they got to figure out that
This reminds me of a little bit of some. I was looking around and I was like, all right, where does this remind me of? I haven't seen where a guy played as little as he did that is talking about getting this money.
Matt Flynn is the
Matt
one.
Flynn. Same team with the Packers. He went to the Seahawks, got a bag of money. They drafted Russell Wilson in the third
Got beat
round.
out, right? Never
and
even
got
got to the
beat out,
field.
never even touched the field.
Did Matt Castle play a lot for the Patriots before he went to the Chiefs?
Yeah, he played one full season. Brady got hurt in September.
Right. They went 10. I think they
But
went,
he got
won 10
paid.
games.
10
but,
games.
but the Chiefs paid though, or did he just get traded there?
No, he played all. He's played 15 starts, 10
Yeah.
and 5 that year, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, and the Chiefs signed him to a big contract.
Brady got hurt week 1.
Yeah.
And
But that'd
Castle
be
played
the
whole year.
second closest thing outside of Matt
that
Flynn.
I can think where
Yeah.
you take a look at him.
And that was a disaster
there-
too, wasn't it?
I think there's in this 25 years, this century, there's 8 guys I think that got drafted in the first round with fewer than 20 college starts.
Mm-hmm.
And except Kyler, they've all failed. And that's Anthony Richardson, that's Mitch Trubisky, right? That's Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He failed at his first spot.
You said
Experience
less
matters.
than 20
less
sta-
than 20 career
And
starts.
Ty Simpson fits that
Yeah,
profile.
Ty Simpson fits that profile. So spinning it forward, like it hasn't happened for Anthony Richardson. Kyler's been up and down. It did happen for Mac Jones. But you're right, as far as like this few NFL starts, and he is the clear-cut number one, and somebody's going to make him the guy, like there is good tape, but it is only 3 games the past 2 years.
Ty, I found the comparison, and it's coming from a Green Bay team again. It's Matt Flynn.
That's what we just
Yeah,
said.
Yeah, but you
Matt
said that. Yeah, Matt
Oh, I
Flynn.
thought you guys said. Oh,
Yeah,
I
Matt
must
Flynn.
Where
have
you
missed
been
I
at?
said
We
Matt Flynn.
started off with Matt Flynn.
Yeah,
and
it was
moved
a-
to
I
Matt
was
Jones.
I was looking something up. I just must have missed Matt Flynn. My apologies.
Yeah, it's definitely
Matt
Flynn.
Flynn's the closest comparison for sure.
Yeah, definitely Matt Flynn.
How many games did Matt Flynn play that year?
The year before he signed with Seattle, he threw 50 passes. That's it. One start, went 1-0, 518 yards, 6
Yeah.
touchdowns.
You say he
2
had
picks.
one start, 1-0?
One start, 1-0.
Oh, his agent is a beast.
Hey, shout.
Hey, I wouldn't do no business with Green Bay. They fleecing.
Malik Willis completed 79% of his passes last year, but he didn't even throw 100 passes.
His look, that is another part of it. How much is during this part of the season? We talked about Cardinal Tate and how his agent was like, oh no, listen, we can't have that 4-5 run. It's like how much is this conversation agent based, and how active are they during this period where it's money to be made or broken, right? Especially with the combine and free agency. Do they do a bunch of talking to these people?
Yeah, I think right now that Malik Willis and his agent know where he's going because that deal would have been done behind closed doors last week at the combine, right? And that's why my alarm gets raised when I hear somebody come out and say, well, the Browns are probably not in on Malik Willis. Because it's like, did they hear that they're just not in? That the decision's been made?
Right.
Or are they just kind of subtly putting out there that we're still on the doorstep? You didn't let us in yet, but we're still on the doorstep.
We open for business. Come on and talk to us.
When when we left the 2022 combine, right? I left knowing the Browns were on one of 2 teams that was going to get Amari Cooper. But the other thing they put out was we're good with Baker Mayfield. Like, he is our quarterback. Stop the speculation.
Yeah.
And everybody came home for 5 days and went through their last meetings. And the next time the Browns were seen was in a meeting in Houston with Deshaun Watson. So that's how it goes.
And you know what? The Browns, I don't know. like we could talk about draft later on in the show, but when you talk about the Browns, I have no clue. When it comes to draft stuff, they could do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
And
I'll put it like this: I hear both of you guys.
Trade back 100%.
I hear both of you guys, and I hear everybody that says that they're just not ready for Malik Willis. That's too much to commit to him, right? But has this not been a 3-decade search for a starting quarterback?
Yes.
And he is a starting quarterback. I think it's arguable because he's only been
What
there.
I just don't understand is what is the biggest difference between him and Shedeur? I feel like you got that same thing on your roster.
He's much more athletic.
As far as
And
mobility.
he's probably a much better deep ball thrower, too. Probably.
I mean, that's one of Shedor's
I
strongest
don't know
suits.
about that, though. See, like that, I don't know.
That's one of his strong.
I don't know.
I don't think we've seen enough play enough
That's
football
what
to
I'm
make
saying.
like
I
right
don't
fit in.
know about that.
I
He played, how many games did Malik Willis play last year?
He started too.
One start. 3 appearances.
See, that's the thing that gets me. That's the thing.
He
3
only-
starts in 2 years.
So he's had, and they got 6 starts total?
6 starts total. Yeah. 3 before the Titans gave up on him, and 3 in 2 years.
And
at
this
Green
is
Bay.
what these stats right here.
That's his career stats.
Career stats. It says right on the graph.
You gotta be kidding me.
I can't do it.
I feel like I don't know
it hurt.
about that.
Like
man.
this-
I just
like
don't
this
know.
right-
I don't know.
It's more the situation where you go into, like, you go to a car dealership, right? And they got this beautiful, it look good, right? And they like, yeah, man, we got this for the low. And you're like, okay, how much is it? They're like, man, we gonna give you this Audi. You're like, oh man, Audi? How much you gonna charge me for it? I give it to you $5,000. I'm out of here. You like, well, let me see the Carfax. We ain't got none. What you mean you ain't got the Carfax? The last owner? What was going on with the car? It say it got 3,000 miles on it. I said, hold on. You in the 2020s, and it's 3,000 miles, ain't no Carfax, and you want me to? You looking at it like something? It's too good to be true. I can't.
Zach, you commit? How much?
I'm just presenting it to you like this.
How much is he demanding?
It's going to get about $40 million guaranteed.
You okay with that?
So let me put it to you like this. This has been a 3-decade search for a starting quarterback. And 4 years ago, they were willing to give up 3 first-rounders, 2 other picks, and $230 million fully guaranteed at $45 a year for a guy. And now this guy's available for $40 total? And you don't have a quarterback because that one failed? And you don't know what your quarterback situation is? You wouldn't do that?
But the other
Tell me the Browns are out.
But the other dude had a track record.
That's what
He was top 3. He had a track record. This guy don't, like, for me.
The other guy was available for reasons.
Yes,
this
there was
this
reasons.
guy is available because he's peaking at the right time. That's the difference.
But it's so unknown.
It is unknown.
It's so, and I'm not even saying like he would. Fit,
But every other option is
he
unknown.
would fit what Ty wants to do. I give you that part, but I don't know, man. Like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money in that room.
But
man.
relatively, is it? It's a lot of money.
When you say it's 40
if there's
million,
one team in the NFL that every penny is imaginary, it's the Cleveland Browns.
Total or 40 million?
40 million guaranteed.
Total.
40 million guaranteed on
over
a
2
6.
years,
Yeah,
Tyvis,
the
2
contract
years.
value
That's
65.
not terrible
70.
at all.
Yeah.
For a starting quarterback, that's
Correct.
That's a.
It's a 3-year deal, 40-some million guaranteed.
Me and Ty, see this.
I just feel like I don't know. For some odd reason, I feel like you got that on the roster.
Me and Tyvis, we've already this is a great conversation. It's fun. I already told you 1,000 times who I think will be the quarterback week 1. I think Shedeur Sanders has the inside track. All right, so let that.
I think Shedeur does have the inside track.
So we all think that. Let's sit that to the side. All right, if we was all businessmen, right, and we was approached with these 2 things, what you can, I would sign out. I sign off on the Richardson. Because if you tell me,
Look at them like stocks.
yeah, I'm looking at it like stocks. I'm like, okay, well, Malik Willis is this, but Anthony Richardson is younger than him, right? Anthony Richardson has played more in the league than him, right? Mm-hmm. He went higher in the draft than him. He's bigger, he's faster, he has better physical traits, and I could get this guy for a 5th-round pick and $5 million, what it's going to cost me, or I could take a flyer on this guy, and he has only played 6 games and two different
6
teams.
starts. So
6 starts.
4 years. Yep.
Low risk, high reward. Give me 5. I'll take 5 over 2. Would you sign off on Richardson over Willis?
Yeah. But they also say the bigger the risk, the bigger the check.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's 2 totally different paths because if you get Willis, that's your starter, you're going forward one way. If you get Richardson, he's coming in the competition. He's probably second in line behind Shedeur when you're on the field in May, right? Then you've got your fallback option. Right. It's only signed for 1 year. Richardson's only signed for 1 year. And basically everybody's starting anew because it's a brand new offensive staff.
I think
brand new offensive line.
I think the biggest problem, the biggest way or issue that I'm having with the whole thing is 2 paths. If you go with Shedeur and or Anthony Richardson, if it doesn't work, you look to next year's draft.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
If you go with Malik, that's your guy.
That's right.
Like, no matter if it's good, that's it. No matter good or bad, if he don't look good this year, it don't matter. He's still going to be the guy.
What would the level?
That's a problem to me.
What would the level of commitment be to him?
I got to be able to hit the eject button.
In terms of, if they do bring Malik Willis in, that's at least a 3-year experiment, right?
Yeah, like his cap numbers in 27 and 28 would be really big. Next year it would not be.
I'm scarred.
You would push that, but you would say this is our starting quarterback for at least the next 2 years.
No matter what.
No, pretty much no matter what. Unless something happens, it goes sideways, and Shedeur continues to develop.
Yeah.
Then that's another problem. You tell me bring this man in for $40 million and Shedeur.
Well, right. There's all sorts of things. You drafted a guy 50 spots ahead of Shedeur last year. He's still on the team right now.
Yeah, listen.
There's just too many mistakes.
Deshaun Watson is going to be on the team because they cannot afford to cut him. So this is an imperfect situation.
And this is what I'm saying. Are you just going to keep making it worse?
What are you supposed to do? Sit and watch these guys try to play?
Yeah.
Watch Dylan Gabriel try to play?
Listen, this is the problem, Zach. They've made a
made
bad decision, and they don't want to lay in it. You gotta ride the thing out. It is what it is.
Like
the whole
but you
room
can't
is
lay in
messed up.
it. They fired the coach. They said we're not laying in it.
I understand that part.
I actually there's consequences.
There should have been other consequences too, but that's a whole nother story.
But they haven't.
I do believe. Here's the thing that does compound that.
They basically said this whole thing is because of Paul DePodesta and Kevin Stefanski. That's what they tell me.
I look at it from this standpoint. Shedeur Sanders is a lottery ticket, get out of jail free card.
Yes.
If Shedeur Sanders hit, we won't even talk about Deshaun Watson's contract because he minimized it for what they gave up to get him and developed him, right?
Yes.
But if you say bring in Malik Willis, right, that compounds the failure of the Deshaun Watson because now you would have Deshaun Watson on the hook for how many million for this year? 80?
His number this year is going to be reduced to 40.
Okay, so
they'll have about 90 for the next 2 years.
Okay, so you got dead cap hits for that. Then you would hit yourself for another quarterback that has, in the next 2 years, that cap number is looking crazy.
Correct.
And you would have to commit to him as the quarterback moving forward. So you probably couldn't move him. So you would compound the situation more, and it takes away money and resources that you would probably have to use in order to make the team better to prop up said quarterback if he's decent, right?
Yeah.
You would have to hit in the draft.
But you have 3 of the top 40 picks, right? And if you have your starting quarterback, then you're not even looking there. You're saying, how can we? And you just traded for a starting either right tackle or right guard yesterday.
Now we will talk about
in
this.
A multi-year commitment.
We will, yeah. Is he going to talk about that?
Yeah, we're gonna. It's in 2 topics. So you want to get to the next topic?
Because he does say something as we pivot forward that I do think is trading for guys and putting them on the books. I think does make it more flexible for the Browns to do things other places.
I think we're
gonna put a ball on it. Your thoughts
with this?
Okay.
I need to know who was responsible for why the quarterback room is the way it is currently, and who is making the decision moving forward. That is the
fact that there's
my issue. Was it Kevin? Is it a scout? Is it AB? I need to know that because to me, they can't be involved in this decision.
Oh, they are.
That's a problem.
The owner is never going away.
That's a problem.
The owner ain't going away.
Listen, Jimmy, love you to death. Thank you for my checks. If you are the reason, like, you got to fall back on this one. Like, you got to sit this one out. Like, this is a pivotal moment in the Cleveland Browns history right now. If you make this decision to go get Malik Willis, that's potentially another 3 years that could be like.
Listen.
Well, then again, when does the stadium do? Ready?
29. 3 more years.
If
it plays into the plan.
Well, listen, man. Zach, listen, if you as an investor, that's try to be savvy, you can sell me on Richardson. You can sell me on.
Sure. That's a very sensible plan.
That's listen, that's a penny stock. Hey, I put a couple dollars in it. It's a hedge fund, whatever. They pink sheets, whatever. But this right here, they asking me to do a prospectus on Malik Willis, and I'm like, all right, well, let me see the financials. And they say, well, we only got financials from 24, and it was last half. I said, well, how much you want to invest?
Can I see
40
that?
million?
What does
Can I
this
see
team
that
do?
career graphic again between Shador and Malik?
Yeah.
All right. Shador has started more games than Malik has.
He started more passes than Malik.
That's amazing to me. Like, that is amazing.
I get so like to me. Go ahead. Oh, man.
That's
Hey,
Buying a lotto ticket, which one do you believe in more?
That's pretty much what it is.
That's what it comes down to.
That's pretty much what it is.
I got the one lottery. Here's what I'm gonna say.
Shador, what was Anthony Richardson's QBR?
Not good.
His
completion percentage is barely 50%. Richardson's thrown more career passes than both guys.
Okay.
That's
And the problem, now listen. Here's
That's
the part.
incredible.
The Richardson conversation. The only part I got with this is this. Everybody's young. They make mistakes, but man, it's hard for me to get over that you tapped out, bro. Like you were in a game.
That's on his coach, man.
And
I keep telling everybody that's Shane Steichen's fault. He should have called time.
McNuggets.
Man.
He tugged his jersey like it was.
No, he tapped his helmet. That's what he did.
But it was like this. Give me a blow, and I'm like, whoa.
They should have blew the time.
Like you should have called timeout and said maybe
you ain't coming out this game. You can take this 5 minutes on this commercial break and get back in. I can't let you come out.
He should have actually retroactively for his PR staff. He should have said I was feeling a little confused. I had a concussion. I didn't even know it.
Right.
He should have
call that trainer.
Yeah, right. Blue tip. They called the train. Yeah, man. Listen, I just had to do that. I'm just confused. Who's the president? JFK. I don't. Yeah, like you got to just throw something out there, McNuggets. But that's the thing that sits with me is he tapped out a little bit, and Cam Newton will tell you when he said he was tired a little bit. That rolled with him the rest of your career. When you are the quarterback of a team, that takes a little bit to get over. But
Cam Newton had a team that had an unbelievable run, went all the way to the championship. And the only thing, if you bring up Cam Newton, the number one thing people remember about him is the fact that he didn't dive on the fumble.
Yeah, like that.
That's all. That's the number one thing that people talk about.